Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Um, Looks like this review not popular, huh? Okay, but anyway, let's start. All of you, the rest, if convenient, you may want to turn on your video so we can have a good conversation. Okay. Um, the purpose of me doing this is few. There are few things that I want to achieve. Firstly, I last year have been doing ACI one for a few rounds, and people are still asking. So I think, okay, let's not repeat, but we do a review. Okay, review, and we can complete quickly. And ACI one is very important, I think. The fact that it is number one, and yeah, and it is, if you go deeper, if you really explore the content, you will realize that this is a very important text. People call it micro lambrim also. Okay, micro lambrim, and lambrim means step on the path to enlightenment. So this is micro. It's 14 verses, and the goal is that the aim is that if we master these 14 verses and practice them in life, we should be able to achieve our enlightenment. So this is something very important, right? And I want to, I think if you are in the Telegram group, you might have seen that I have lined up courses pretty aggressively, like once every month, and that's 5 days. My pattern is to run the courses in 5 days, and then almost one every month, and then after the course, then we have a review. And of course, if you follow the standard ACI courses, there will be homeworks, quiz, and final exam. For me, I like to put this as an open option, right? Option means it's good if you do. If you don't do, I will not penalize you. Okay, because my purpose is to expose the teaching as much as possible. I don't want people to stop coming because they feel they don't have time to do the homework. I don't want people to stop coming because they feel bad because they don't do homework, So I make this as an option so people can come and learn happily. All right. But of course, when you feel like doing the homework, please do. Yeah, I saw here we have Alice. Alice, I think, completed almost all of the homeworks already. Well done. Yeah, Alice is from Indonesia. Okay. So, and then by doing this review, and then when we complete, hopefully by end of this year, 12. Yeah. So ACI 2 to 12. Next year, we can try to complete the rest. I think we have an even bigger vision to move everybody to what we call the advanced courses. This is the foundation course, and foundation is an open teaching. And we want to bring as many people as possible to the advanced courses so that we can practice in more advanced way. Okay. But of course, by saying that, the foundation is also very important. Okay, now let's start our review. Okay, I have already compiled, okay, all the 10 courses into one PowerPoint, so you don't be surprised if you see the number. I have 84 slides, right? So basically, ACI 1, the three principal paths. Okay, the three principal paths. I'm going to use PPT mixed with the PDF. Okay, PDF of the Geshe Michael's the text prepared by Geshe Michael. I think the text is also very important, And I think we should also refer to the text quite regularly, okay, quite regularly. It's only right that we also refer to the text. And I feel that we should not ignore the text and only refer to the to the PowerPoint and student notes. Maybe I show you the text first. This is the text. And then if you look at text, right? Oh yeah, Ryan, you help me manage the waiting room. I don't know why I cannot remove the waiting room. I try to take away, but I cannot. So yeah. So this is the PDF text from Geshe Michael, and as you can see, there are 10 readings, and then there is a class notes. Okay, class notes is valuable. Class notes is valuable, but I think it's good to also read the text. Okay, it's also good to read the text. Okay, so yeah. So let's go back to the PowerPoint first, and then we will switch between the PowerPoint and the text. Okay, 3 principal paths. And this is the table of content. This is the content of the 10 classes. As you can see, 1 to 4, class 1 to 4 are basically the introduction. 5, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Introduction. Class 1 is basically talking about the lineage, right? The lineage teacher. Okay. Class 2, we talk about we introduce the 3 principal paths. And class 3, we talk about teacher. How to take a teacher, how to take a Lama, and the qualities. And because of this, we start the course with the lineage. And then class 4, we talk about authentic Dharma and good students. And as you can see, 3 principal paths, right? That means there are 3 main ideas, 3 main paths. And each path is covered by 2 classes. 5, 6 are covering renunciation. 7, 8 are bodhicitta. 9, 10 are the correct view. Okay, so it's very, very clear. As you can see, everything related to Geshe Michael is always very structured. Okay, so now let's continue. So class 1, basically we talk about the lineage, right? We start from Je Tsongkhapa. Of course, we can trace further back to the time of Buddha. And the text that we are reading, the 3 principal paths, or Lamcho Namsum, is written by Je Tsongkhapa. And then we are in ACI 1, we are learning the text written by Pabongka Rinpoche. Okay, how is he related? We will look at the content shortly. We will look at the lineage shortly. Right. Actually, I want to, yeah. So let's switch over to the reading. Okay. So the 3 principal path is written by Je Tsongkhapa, or he's also known as Tsongkhapa, the great king of Dharma. There are 14 verses here. There are 14 verses, yeah. You can enjoy reading them. They are very beautiful. And we are going to extract the verse one by one. And this is a text written to Ngawang Drakpa, a friar from the Tsako district, yeah, who is mentioned here, a very learned Buddhist monk, the glorious Lobsang Drakpa, okay, which is the Je Tsongkhapa. Now, and in this text, ACI 1 that we are reading, class 1 reading 1 is actually the forward, yeah, written by Ken Rinpoche Geshe Lobsang Tarchin, who is Geshe Michael's main teacher, right? And this is the forward for the English translation of Pabongka Rinpoche commentary, the book that we are learning, yeah, called the key that unlocks the door to the noble path. Lam Tsang Go Che, right? So Lam Cho Nam Sum is the actual text, yeah, and the commentary is the Lam Tsang Go Che by Pabongka Rinpoche. If you're interested in Tibetan, Lam means path, Cho is the principle, yeah, main. Lam Cho Nam means plural, Sum three, the three principal path. The key that unlocks Lam path, Sang is noble, yeah, Lop Sang Drakpa, Sang noble, right? So noble path. Go is the door, Che is the key that unlocks, right? So, okay, let's move back to the PowerPoint. So here we can see that J. Tsongkhapa is a great teacher. He has three very famous students. One is the cup. If you look at the Thangka, the picture here, left and right? This one is Gyaltsab J, this one is Khedrup J. Yeah, Gyaltsab J and Khedrup J, two main students. And the third one is the Dalai Lama the first. Dalai Lama the first. Yeah. And they wrote a lot of books. They wrote a lot of books, just like the teachers, right? Of course, if you want to know the story of Dalai Lama, that will require another class. Basically, Dalai Lama the third was given the title of Dalai Lama, but he posthumous. Posthumous means he gave the title to his previous incarnations because he is the second incarnation of this Gendun Drup. The first Dalai Lama is called Gendun Drup. Yeah, Gendun Drup. I think I remember correctly. Let me check. Dalai Lama. The first Dalai Lama is called Gendun Drup, correct? Yeah, Gendun Drup is a Tsongkhapa student. So the third Dalai Lama is called Sonam Gyatso. Sonam Gyatso was given the title of Dalai Lama by Mongolia king. And he knew that he is the second incarnation of Gendun Drup. That's why he said that, hey, Dalai Lama title, the first should be given to his two previous incarnations, which is Gendun Drup. So because of that, he himself take on the third Dalai Lama. Okay. So Gendun Drup, and then second is Gendun Gyatso, and then the third one is Sonam Gyatso. And of course, if you want to know the story of Dalai Lama, you know, the Dalai Lama the fifth sometimes is called the Great Fifth, Ngawang Lopsang Gyatso, and then the Panchen Lama story will come in. The teacher of Dalai Lama the fifth became Panchen Lama the first, and because he is the incarnation of Khedrup J, sometimes Khedrup J is also called Panchen Lama the first. So all these are very, very interesting if you know the story, okay? And then there are many important texts written by them, including Dalai Lama the seventh, Gyaltsok Kelsang Gyatso, and so on and so on. Okay, so this can become a very interesting class also. But Je Tsongkhapa is the founder of the Gelugpa teaching, yeah, and then he received a direct oral transmission from Manjusri, or known as Gentle Voice, and completed 10,000 pages of Buddhism texts. And and then about Lamrim, right? Lamrim is also a very important text, and officially there are 8 versions of Lamrim texts written by, I think, of course, the Lamrim Chemo by Je Tsongkhapa himself, and then I think there are versions by Gyaltsab J, by Khedrup J, by Gendun Drup. And I think this teacher and the students are really, really great masters, right? And Lamrim Chemo was actually written based on the teaching by Lord Atisha. Yeah, I think we will cover this later if we have time. Lamp on the Path, and then became Lamrim. And then if you are familiar with the Liberation on the Palm of Your Hand, Zhangzhong Jieto, that is the teaching of Lamrim Chemo by Pabongka Rinpoche in 14 days. So Pabongka Rinpoche taught the Lamrim by Je Tsongkhapa, taught written by Je Tsongkhapa, and then those 14 days notes summary were taken by Trijang Rinpoche, who then published it, become the Liberation on the Palm, in the palm of your hand, right? So that become a very, very famous Lamrim text in our lineage, and also a lot of other schools out there. And Geshe Michael is using the text by Pabongka Rinpoche, right? Okay, and you can see here 3 principal paths is actually condensed Lamrim in 14 verses, written by Je Tsongkhapa for Ngawang Drakpa. Okay, besides 3 famous students, Je Tsongkhapa also has 3 famous students, and then 4 close students. 4 close students means 4 close students who are very close to him. And one of the 4 is Ngawang Drakpa. Right, Ngawang Drakpa is very close to him, and also he came from Gyarong area of Tibet, which is near the Xinjiang, Xinjiang, and he's a friar, means friar Chako Wongpo, friar from Chako. So his father is actually like a leader of this Chako area. Yeah. So Chako Wongpo. Wongpo means the monk from Chako. Chako. So because his father is a leader from Chako, so he got a title called Chako Wongpo. And then this is his monk's name, Ngawang Drakpa. So you see the tradition is to take our teacher's name. So Lobsang Drakpa, the student is Ngawang Drakpa. And then you see a lot of students in our lineage use the name Lobsang to honor Je Tsongkhapa, Lobsang Drakpa. Like Ken Rinpoche is Geshe Lobsang Tachin. Geshe Michael is Lobsang Chunzi, Lobsang. So a lot of them are Lobsang. Yeah, like the Lobsang Sunam, Lobsang Gyalse. I think you know them, right? Yeah. So in our lineage, they follow Lobsang, but here Ngawang Drakpa. So Ngawang Drakpa is a very dear student of Je Tsongkhapa, although he is not the famous 3. And then when the teacher felt that he has mastered enough, he actually asked Ngawang Drakpa to go back to his hometown, Chako, to build 108 monasteries. And let's say one day, hey Ryan, you need to go to, but you're from KL, I don't know, you need to build 108 monasteries in KL, Well, I think the normal reaction is, what? 1 monastery already challenging, now 108 monasteries. But Ngawang Drakpa listened to the teachers. I think the way I teach, I don't think we can complete the review. This week of +1 alone, I cannot. No, I need to speed up. But I like this story, the story is very, very beautiful. And I don't know how many teachers are actually telling you this story, but to me, it's very beautiful. So Ngawang Drakpa actually followed his teacher's instruction. So he went to the east and started building. So when his first monastery was done, and then when he had his first group of students, he sent a letter to his teacher. Hey, teacher, I already built a monastery, I have a student now. Can you give me instruction? What should I teach them first? And Je Tsongkhapa sent in 2 letters. The first one is this letter on Lamcho Namsum. Lamcho Namsum, right? The 3 principal parts that we are learning. Okay? Another thing, right? Je Tsongkhapa. Je is the honorific title. Tsongkhapa, pa means person. Tsongkha is the place he came from. Tsongkha, right? I always like to say Tsongkha. Tsong is garlic. Is that garlic? No. Tsong. Besides garlic, what do you call that? The red color. Garlic is the white one. The red color is Yeah, the family lah. I think you know what I mean. Okay, the family. So that area produce a lot of those onion. Okay, a lot of onion. So Chong is onion. So the place with onion. So they say his name is Ji Chong Kappa. Okay, let's speed up. And then, oh yeah, Ngawang Drakpa incarnation is Changkya Rolpe Dorje. Changkya Rolpe Dorje. Here, Changkya Rolpe Dorje, who is the teacher to China emperor from Qing dynasty. I think, if I'm not wrong, it's a Kangxi emperor, from China. So Changkya Rolpe Dorje, the status was also very, very high, very senior. Imagine the emperor as a teacher, And his incarnation after that is actually Pabongka Rinpoche. But when Pabongka Rinpoche was born, the political situation was not too stable. So although he was recognized as Changkya incarnation, but he chose not to, And one of his incarnation is also Pabongka Rinpoche. So actually, this Pabongka Rinpoche is the incarnation of the previous Pabongka Rinpoche, right? And the name is also interesting, right? Pabongka, person from Pabong. Pabong means what? Pabong means big stone, right? So the monastery is actually built on top of a big stone. And then, you all want to listen to more stories or not? There's another story about Pabong. People tell me, hey, Teacher Sugeng, how come you have all these stories? Yeah, because I like stories, and then I listen to Geshe Michael. He like to tell stories. So I just collect all the stories so I can tell the stories. Lord Atisha, when he first went to, Charlotte, okay, thank you. When he first went to Tibet, right, he was learning Tibetan. And, when I think the story, right, Lord Atisha, when he went to Tibet, he has many students in India, but he chose one student which is the most stupid to accompany him to Tibet. People ask him, hey, teacher, you have so many good students. How come you choose the worst student? Lord Atisha say, yeah, I bring along these students so that every time he make me angry, I can purify my bed sits and quickly do the 4 powers. Okay. So he is so extreme, Every, people, Geshe Michael saying, every 3 step, the student will make him unhappy, and then he will, every time he feel anger, he will stop, come down from the horse, and then do prostration and do his 4 step, and then 4 powers, and then go in again. So imagine the trip, how long the trip took, because every 3 step he had to do his 4 powers and prostration. And then one day, he was learning Tibetan, right? One day he felt the shoes was very uncomfortable, his sandals. So he actually came down, and his Tibetan student asked him, hey, what happened, teacher? He forgot. He wanted to say there is pebbles. There are pebbles on his sandal. So he's not comfortable. But because he forgot the term, he used the term pabong. There's a pabong on my sandal. And when the Tibetan student realized, oh, teacher, that's not pabong. I forgot the term. That's pebble, And everybody was laughing at him. Ah! And then Lord Atisha said, okay, now this stupid student can go back India already. Only Ryan get the joke. The rest of you don't get the joke. Because all of you can replace my stupid student already to make me angry. So I think very funny, very interesting, right? So that's Pabongka Rinpoche. I think if you read the manual, you read the text, it's very interesting. There are many stories, right? And then Pabongka Rinpoche has 2 main students. I think I forgot the name. One, I forgot the name, and then the second one is Trijang Rinpoche. Both are the main teacher of the current Dalai Lama, the 14th. Dalai Lama the 14th has 2 teachers. One is, I think, Ling Rinpoche and Trijang Rinpoche, right? So Ling Rinpoche, I think, is not around anymore. Trijang Rinpoche also not around anymore. So both of them are the teacher to the current Dalai Lama the 14th. And then Trijang Rinpoche is Ken Rinpoche's teacher. Right? Actually, I should use the full name, right? Pamunga Rinpoche, Dechen Yingpo, Trijang Rinpoche, Lobsang Yeshe Tenzin Gyatso, and then the lineage is Ken Rinpoche, Geshe Lobsang Tachin, right? So Geshe Lobsang Tachin is the one who went to New Jersey, and then Geshe Michael lived with him for like 25 years, serving him. And then finally, our teacher is Geshe Michael Roach, right? Okay, enough. Now, what is these three principal paths? Basically, it consists of three parts, right? The renunciation, the bodhicitta, and the correct worldview. Okay, renunciation. Read with me, right? Renunciation is Ngen Jung, right? Ngen Jung, yeah. I just hope that you repeat with me, Ngen Jung, yeah. And then bodhicitta is Jang Chup Kisem, Jang Chup Kisem. Sorry, Jung Sem, Jang Chup Kisem. Let me see. We use the term Jang Chup Kisem, correct? Jang Chup Kisem, yeah, bodhicitta. And then finally, Yang Dakpe Tawa, Yang Dakpe Tawa, right? So renunciation is Ngenjung. We are talking about life, suffering life. And then bodhicitta is Jangchup Kisem. We want to quickly become enlightened for the sake of all living beings. And finally, Yang Dakpe Tawa, Yang Dakpe Tawa, Yang Dakpe Tawa. Yeah, is the correct worldview, okay? We are going to discuss about them after this, yeah, but I just need you to know these are the three components. Like I mentioned, this is a lamrim, a compressed lamrim, right? It means that in lamrim we have three scopes of teaching, three scopes of motivation. So we have lesser scope, medium scope, and greater scope. This is so lesser scope means we want to escape the lower rebirth. Medium scope means we want to get out of the suffering cycle. And then greater scope means we want to get out so that we can help all beings to get out. Hey, today in the mixed nuts, right? in the Wheel of Life, I learned something new, you know. We talk about the good deeds and bad deeds. And we talk about stained good deeds and unstained good deeds. And we always think that, hey, we need to do good deeds, we need to do good deeds, right? But we forget about doing good deeds which are unstained as compared to good deeds which are stained. Oh, I see Maha. Oh, Lien, you want to turn on your camera if convenient? Lien was my wisdom group translator in Hanoi. Okay. Ivor was my translator on stage in Hanoi. Wow, all my translators. Grace was my translator in Ho Chi Minh. Grace Nguyen. Wow. Yeah. So, you know, when you become my translators, we have a good seats together. Okay, so we are talking about good deeds, unstained good deeds. And according to Master Vasubandhu, this stained and unstained, how do you define? We are saying that you can, in fact, in this three principal path, right? We are saying that you can do a lot of good things. You can help people, you can do charities, but if you don't have three principal paths as your base, whatever you are doing basically is not going to be beneficial to you. It will still bring you back to this samsara. Okay, so whatever you do, yes, we always say intention is good, motivation is good. Sometimes we say, yeah, we just do, you know, we don't have to think about anything. Sometimes we say, yeah, just be good because the seeds you plant will come back to you. Yeah, correct. But If you do them without the three principal paths as the base, those will not really be helpful to you. Okay, we are going to talk about this in the suffering, kind of suffering. It is still a suffering because it will still bring you back to the wheel of suffering. And the same thing today, Master Vasubandhu is even more stringent, okay? He said that anything that you do, Lian is gone. Anything that we do without understanding where the pen is coming from, that is stained. Let's say when I want to give money, right? When I want to give money to a charity, when I'm giving, yes, I know, yes, I want to give money, I want to plant seed, but at the same time, this money came because I work hard. This money came because I received red packet from my boss. Then that is stained already. When you give money, you need to have the understanding. This money came because I was generous before. You see? So you need to have this understanding so that your good deed becomes unstained. And only good deeds that are unstained can help us get out of the wheel of life. You can do a lot of good deeds, but if they are stained, you are still going to come back. So Je Tsongkhapa here is saying that it's useless. Oh, sorry, Master Vasubandhu. But Je Tsongkhapa is telling us, use the three principal paths. Enough, okay? Let's move on. Okay, class 2, Musi Musum. This is basically a simple Buddhist logic. Okay, 3 ways and 4 ways. 3 combination, 4 combination. Some of you in the advanced level 2 application lab, you know that I'm reading another book. I'm reading another book. Yeah. It's called this one. Let me show you. Here. Yeah, here. Okay. So you can see, right, this book, Course in Buddhist Reasoning and Debate, right? So while reading this book, right, I learned something new again, you know. Musi Musum, 4 ways and 3 ways. Basically, 3 ways and 4 ways. 3 ways is what we call one direction. 4 ways is called 2 direction. 1 direction is 2 direction, okay? What does it mean? 1 direction means it includes. Inclusive, that's why it's 1 direction. 2 direction means they are not inclusive. Meaning what? We always use the term, we always use the example of a car. 3 ways means what? Toyota and Corolla, for example, right? Toyota and Corolla, right? Or Toyota or Honda. Let's use Honda. Honda and Civic. Honda Civic, right? Honda. We say to be a Civic is to be a Honda. But to be a Honda is not a Civic, might not be a Civic because you have other Honda Accord, for example, right? So it's 1 way only. Only 1 way. It's not 2 ways. So that means this is inclusive. Exclusive means work hard and money. Work hard and money. 2 ways, right? 2 ways means we always use this example of 2 ways, right? Work hard and money. Work hard, have money. There are people who work hard with money. There are people who work hard with no money. There are people who don't work hard but have money. There are people who don't work hard and don't have money. So we always use this Musi to prove that things are not related. Yeah. So this is what we call 2 ways. Okay. Sorry, 2 ways. Sorry, I shouldn't. 2 ways and 3 ways. Okay, that's confusing. Never mind. Let's use this to continue with our discussion. Once I finish that book, I'm going to do some short teaching on the book. I think it's very, very exciting. Okay. So Geshe Michael is using this to actually skillfully teach us about the relationship. So here we talk about blue and sky. Blue and sky is basically 4 combinations, right? 4 combinations. 4 combination means blue and sky. There are sky. We can see sky which is blue, right? Or blue which is not sky. So example here is bluebird but not sky. Or sky which is not blue. Or something which is not sky and not blue. So this is what we call the mushi, the four combinations, right? Mushi. So we can, but here we talk about musum. So you see, when we have four combinations, it means they are not related. They are not related. Means blue and sky are not related. But musum, when we say musum, that means they are related. They are one way, okay? So we can say example, merit. You need to have merit to become a Buddha, yeah? We see that a lot, right? We see people who don't have merit and they don't become Buddha. Easy. Or people who have merit but not a Buddha, yes. People who are still practicing. But people who have merit but don't have correct view. They do good things but lacking of wisdom. Or people who don't have merit but become Buddha. There is no such thing, right? To become Buddha, you definitely need to have merit. So this is what we call musum. Inclusive merit is part of the Buddha. Sorry, Buddha is part of the merit. Yeah? To be a Buddha is to have merits. To be a Buddha is to have merits, right? You definitely need to have merits in order to become a Buddha. Okay, another thing, emptiness and three principal paths, right? So we see when you have three principal paths, when you base your practice in three principal paths, you can go into direct perception of emptiness. People who don't have three principal paths, they don't get into emptiness, yeah? People who practice the three principal paths but not get into DP, yes, there are, yeah? Because probably lacking of practice time. And definitely, if you don't do the three principal paths, you will not get into DPE. And this is a musum. Actually, if you are sharp, this is actually subject to debate. You can debate me. Hey, teacher, are you sure? But I don't have time for that. Okay, don't debate me now. Actually, let me tell you, this is not true, okay? If you really study physics, quantum physics especially, you can go into DPE without any other thing, okay? This is mentioned by Geshe Michael, but let's just assume that this is correct, okay? Now, emptiness is also called Mahamudra or Great Seal. That's why if you heard of the term Mahamudra, it means Great Seal. It means it's a code word for emptiness. What name do we use for Mahamudra meditation in DCI level 2 or level 3? Level 3. What name do we use for Mahamudra meditation in DCI level 3? Anybody? What is the meditation's name we use for Mahamudra in level 3? I expect Shin to know. Shin, come on, tell me.
In Chinese,
Can, yes. In Chinese, what do you say?
当下冥想.
Yeah. Present moment meditation, right? Yeah, it's called present moment meditation. Geshe Michael used the term present moment because it is a very simplified meditation in level 3. But the real Mahamudra meditation is a very important meditation because it is one of the ways we can have DPE, direct perception of emptiness, okay? Yeah. Chakya Chempo. Chakya is a mudra, is a seal. Chempo is big, right? Okay, let's move on. So in studying, in order to progress spiritually, we need to have method and wisdom. Tap, share up. Method is tap, wisdom is share up. Method covers the Ngenjung and Samkhya. Yeah, method covers the renunciation and the bodhicitta. Wisdom is the correct worldview. Okay, method and wisdom. What analogy that I don't know, you if you follow me long enough, you know the analogy I always like to use. In fact, this analogy is also given by, I forgot which master. I always like to use the bird analogy. Bird wings, the wings, right? So one wing is method, one wing is wisdom, right? So in order to fly high, the birds need both wings. Need both wings to fly. You cannot just focus on method and forget about wisdom. You cannot just focus on wisdom and forget about method, right? So you can see method is basically the heart. There is a heart here, bodhicitta. Wisdom is the book, profound. Some people call it wisdom, some people call it profound side. Method, some people call it the far-reaching side, right? So the same thing in Buddhism, in Buddhism, there is a group which focuses a lot. There are groups which focus a lot on wisdom, and there are groups which focus a lot on method or bodhicitta. But we are very lucky because in our lineage, started from Lord Atisha, we received both. We call it both lineages. Okay, we received both lines, the far-reaching line and the profound line. Through Lord Atisha, the profound line, the wisdom line came from some masters, like I forgot the name. But we can think of the profound, the wisdom as coming down from Arya Nagarjuna. Okay, Arya Nagarjuna focuses a lot on Nagarjuna, and the lineage focuses a lot on wisdom, whereas bodhicitta, the lineage came down from Lord Maitreya, right? Lord Maitreya, and then if you come down, basically people like Master Asanga, Master Vasubandhu, they are considered the bodhicitta, right? From Arya Nagarjuna, we know people like Chandra Kirti, Chandra Kirti, Buddha Palita. This is basically the wisdom, and then the profound, and then the far-reaching, the bodhicitta is from Lord Maitreya, and finally through the Lord Sarlingpa, Indonesia, right? Swarna Dwipa, Sumatra, Swarna Dwipa. So Lord Sarlingpa. So through Lord Atisha, we receive both lines, so that our teaching is like a bird with two wings. Okay. Another benefit of learning this is that the method will help us collect merits. Method will help us collect merits. And then when we become enlightened, this will become the form of Buddha's body, form bodies of the Buddha. Wisdom will help us collect the seeds to become Dharma body of the Buddha. Okay, so Buddha's body can be divided into two types, form and the Dharma. Right? Form body can be divided further into two. We call it the Sambhoga Kaya and the Nirmana Kaya, the body of enjoyment and body of manifestation. Dhamma body we can divide into two, emptiness of Buddha's body and then the Buddha's mind, right? Okay. Oh, here, yeah, okay. So Dhamma body is the combination of the mental and ultimate nature. Form body is the part of enlightened being of the body. Okay. And then those two will help us get rid of two obstacles. Okay, let me repeat. So in order to become Buddha, there are two obstacles that we need to get rid of. One is the obstacles to mental afflictions. Second is obstacles to omniscience, right? My question. When you, okay, let us rewind back. When you see emptiness directly, what title do you get? What do you become? When you see emptiness directly, what do you become? No, not yet. Yes, Ivo, I think it's coming out from your mouth already. Come, let it out.
Arya.
Yes, Arya. When you see emptiness directly, you become Arya.
Arya is Anuttara, the one that reached the highest knowledge, the highest wisdom is Arya.
No. Arya is emptiness. When you see emptiness, you become an Arya. Okay, now let's continue. When do you become Arhat? When do you become Arhat? When do you become Arhat?
When you see direct emptiness.
No, when you see emptiness directly, you become Arya. But when you become, so first you need to become Arya first. After you become Arya, then you can either become Arhat first, or you can directly become a Buddha. So when you get rid of these mental afflictions, you become Arhat. I know it's coming out from your mouth. Why didn't you let it out? Yes, Shin, get rid of mental afflictions, right? So in other words, when you get out of the wheel of life, wheel of suffering, you get rid of the obstacles to mental afflictions. That means you become Arhat. But you are not a Buddha yet, because there's another obstacles, which is obstacles to omniscience. Only when you get rid of these two, then you become enlightened or Buddha. Okay? Okay, cook it. Grace. Okay, how to take a lama? I think my time is still okay. Yeah, still okay. No, I'm supposed to end at 2:30. Okay, I need to finish class 6. Okay, this is class 3. Okay, how to take a lama? Okay, we say that a teacher is very important, especially Dharma teacher. Okay, you need a good Dharma teacher to lead you properly. Bad Dharma teacher can mess you up. If not carefully verified, not only your current life is messed up, your future life of 1,000 years will also be messed up. So it's very important, right? Because if your teacher do not guide you on virtues correctly, the consequence here is, they say, is irreversible. And also the teacher need to teach you the correct worldview. If you don't learn the correct worldview, you cannot get the result you want. So it's very important. Here we use the example of Lord Atisha. He went through the sea from India to Sumatra, Swarna Bhumi, actually Swarna Dwipa, not Swarna Bhumi. You can consider that as Swarna Bhumi. This is not Thailand's airport, okay? He took 11 months over dangerous sea, 11 to 12 months over dangerous sea. And finally, when he arrived, he didn't quickly go to see the teacher. Actually, this one is Master Dhammakirti Sarlingpa. I think in history, there are 3 Dhammakirti, right? Dharma means teaching. Kirti means famous for the teaching, Dhammakirti. So because of this, a lot of people has this name, Dhammakirti. So he spent 2 months to observe, is this a really worthy teacher for him to learn? He spent actually 2 months to check. And finally, after he verified, he lived in Sumatra for 12 years to learn and to serve his teacher. So what to look for in a Dharma teacher? First 3, Dulwa Shiva Nyar Shiva. So morality, concentrative awareness, and full calm abiding. This is basically talking about the teacher need to observe the morality well. The teacher need to be able to meditate well, mindfulness and concentrative awareness. And the teacher, full calm abiding means the teacher needs to have a good wisdom. Okay, so this is basically related to the 3 basket. 戒定慧 in Chinese, right? The 3 basket, the morality, the meditative, and the wisdom. On top of that, there are 7 more. So the second 3 is rich in scripture, means the teacher need to have a wealth of scriptural knowledge, right? Your Dharma teacher needs to have good knowledge on the scripture. Otherwise, how can you be guided in the Dharma properly? So, of course, the teacher needs to have a good knowledge on Dharma. Deep realization of suchness. This one can refer to somebody who has seen emptiness directly, or at least if you, how many of you in my advanced level 2? I think only Ryan. Okay, in advanced, Ivo was there. Yeah, Ivo was there. If you remember the picture, right? The true image, we talk about, Alice was not there. When we talk about the true image, there are 2, there are 2 images. One is the image that we see directly, and one is the image we see indirectly using clear thinking, right? So if your teacher don't see emptiness directly, of course your teacher also needs to have good indirect perception of emptiness. Let me ask you, how do you get an indirect perception of emptiness? I have shared this many, many times. I don't know whether anybody remember. Yeah, my daughter is beside me. She's in National University of Singapore. She said that her teacher also always said that. I want to know who remembers what I said. Not for me. Can you get one for me? The white one. So I always say, when I tell you a pen story, right? When I tell you a pen story, when the dog goes out, when the humans go out, at that moment, on the table, is it a pen or is it a chew toy? Normally, we like to say, oh yeah, somebody say nothing. That is a moment where you are perceiving emptiness indirectly. Okay, so there's a very important moment. Or Geshe Michael always like to say, okay, raise your finger and point to something that is not coming from your seed. You see? So this is a very important moment. This is a moment where you see emptiness indirectly. Okay? So deep realization of suchness. These are 2 examples, right? And then, of course, excellent spiritual quality. Exceed the student to help them, okay? In fact, in the 3 principle path, Tsongkhapa is saying that, hey, if you will become just like your teacher, so you need to find the best teacher you can. Because if you don't find the best teacher you can, you will be just like your teacher. So find the best teacher you can so that you can become just like your teacher. All right. Okay, then 4 more. A master instructor means the teacher needs to know how to teach, yeah, according to each student's knowledge and the stage and the capability. The teacher needs to have love and compassion for the student, yeah. And then last two, the teacher needs to have all the great efforts and also never get discouraged. Kiawapang. 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 Not discouraged, okay? Sometimes students keep on asking and asking, you know. So the teacher shouldn't be discouraged. Okay, I'll explain again if you don't know. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so those are the 10 criteria of the teacher. What is authentic Dharma and what is a good student? You see, authentic Dharma is very important. You can learn a lot of things which are not authentic, but even if you spend 1,000 years of hard practice, you will not go anywhere. And Pabonga Rinpoche is saying, sometimes we buy cheap things. We buy something cheap. We buy a pen. We buy a book. We buy cheap things. We check and check. Oh, this one is a bit, what do you mean? Koya means a bit torn. This is a bit dirty. I don't want. But when talking about learning Dharma, you are not selective at all. People tell you, hey, so-and-so is coming to town. Oh yeah, let's go and learn from him or her. Without asking, what is the teacher teaching? Is it a real Dharma? Or is this just a new age thing? Or is it something that the teacher created himself or herself? Is there any scriptural basis of the teaching? You see? But when you buy something, we don't have to say something cheap. You talk about car. When you want to buy a car, you really make sure there are no scratches. You make sure that the car is perfect. But when you want to learn Dharma, you don't really check the Dharma. And that is very dangerous, you know, because if you get into the wrong Dharma, you are wasting your time. Somebody from Indonesia asked me, hey teacher, there is this meditation program. It's very good. You know, in fact, I tried. I felt so peaceful. Should I learn? I say, you need to judge whether that is a correct teaching or not. And what is the definition of a correct teaching? This is where we want to go. Another story. Geshe Michael was looking for his teacher. Wow! And then he was introduced to Ken Rinpoche, and then he was so excited. And then he made an appointment to see Ken Rinpoche. So the day after class, he stayed back to meet Ken Rinpoche. And the story was quite interesting. He prepared momo, and then he thought he presented momo to Ken Rinpoche, you know. And then finally, Rinpoche asked him, do you know how to meditate? Oh, yes, I know. How do you meditate? Well, then he sit perfectly. I sit this way. I can sit for 2 hours doing meditation. And you know what did Rinpoche say? Congratulations. You are 2 hours closer to your death. You understand the meaning? If you just do meditation, anyhow meditation without real purpose, you are just wasting 2 hours of your life. Meaning you are 2 hours closer to your death, you know. So Dharma is very important. First, choose the teacher. Second, choose the Dharma. So anytime somebody teaches you something, you need to ask, is this authentic? Or is this just your own creation? Did the Buddha even teach that? So there are 3 criteria. First, it has to be taught by enlightened beings, or rather, you should be able to trace the teaching up all the way to an enlightened being. In this case, we say the Buddha. Let's say we learn about the 4 steps. You need to question Teacher, is 4 steps really, you can trace this back to the Buddha's teaching? You need to challenge, 2 husbands in the kitchen. Is this taught by the Buddha? Can you show some scripture proof that this was taught before? Let me tell you, all the life tools we learn in DCI, we can find the scripture basis. Yes, the name might be different, but we can find the scripture basis. Okay, so learn to be critical. And then the teaching has to be cleaned of any errors by the sages to its authentic form. Pandite tenle papa. Okay, it has to be cleaned. So here, for example, or 3 poisons or suchness. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see the thing. Suchness basically is the code word for emptiness. I don't know the Chinese how they put it. I don't know what the Chinese put, but suchness is the code word for emptiness. Hey, Zoom Young who is that? Is that Phoebe? Anyway, it's okay lah. Dharma is open, is a free teaching, so you don't want to put your name, I'm also okay. 3 poisons, yeah. So it has to be clean, like I always like to tell the story of how Buddhism actually went to Tibet. The first wave was by Lian Hua Seng, Kamala. What's the name? Lian Hua Seng is I forgot the name. Lian Hua Jie, Lian Hua Seng. Anyway, I forgot the name. So he was the first one. Okay, let me check my internet. Yeah, I forgot the name. Lian Hua Seng. English. Padmasambhava. Yeah, Padmasambhava, right? So Padmasambhava was the first one who brought this there. And then the second person was actually Lord Atisha. And every time, the first one, of course, Padmasambhava, when he brought the system there, he had to, there was some, the Tibetan already had their own local belief before. So when Padmasambhava brought Buddhism there had to be some sort of replacement, right? But along the way, somehow the traditional belief was called bond. So there was a kind of mixture. And that's when Lord Atisha arrived there, he had to do some cleaning again, right? Cleaning again. And along the way, about few hundred years. So yeah, I think Lord Atisha and Padmasambhava are different by 200 years. And then Lord Atisha, after 300 years, the teaching became corrupted again. And that's when Je Tsongkhapa came and cleaned the teaching again. Okay. So yes, the teaching has to be clean of any errors. Clean of any errors. All right. And then and in our lineage, we are only studying teachings by Je Tsongkhapa, because we know that Je Tsongkhapa has cleaned all the teachings of any errors. Finally, it should have brought results through realizations to master practitioner. So these are the 3. First, it has to have come from enlightened being, or we should be able to trace back the lineage, the teaching to the Buddha. Second, it has to be cleaned of any errors by the sages. And third, it should have brought true realization to master practitioners. And how to become a good student? First, free of conception, surni, free of preconception. Okay, you don't have your own preconception. Intelligent spiritually means you are eager to learn, you are diligent in learning. And finally, high spiritual aspirations. You want to progress in your spirituality. Okay, so these are the three requirements to become a good student. And these are from Arya Deva. Okay, Arya Deva. Okay, class 5, Sansara and renunciation. Now, okay, three principal paths, right? Principal is P-A-L, not P-L-E. Yeah, don't get it wrong. And here, this is not a typo. It should be N and not M, right? So Geshe Michael always say it has to be Sansara, not Samsara, because before S, so this is they call it Anuswara, is a character that follow the character after it. So before S, it cannot be M. Before S can only be N. Yeah, unless this is a B, then it becomes M, like Satma Pambawa. Yeah, but because this is S, it has to be Sansara. It's not Samsara. And the M was actually due to mistake by the British when they occupied India. Right? So it has to be Sansara and renunciation. Okay, now let's go. Renunciation is Nyanjung. Okay, misperception of the mind, taking external objects for pleasure or pain. Okay, why do we need renunciation? How to develop and how we know that we have succeeded. So Ngenjung is renunciation, right? First, we talk about the Sansara, the Korwa. Korwa refers to the wheel of suffering, wheel of life, right? This wheel is there and we are going in again and again. Is because we are forced by karma and negative emotions. Karnak, we call it karnak. In mixed nuts, we call this karnak. Lenyun, karnak. And because of this karnak, we are forced to repeat birth and death over and over again. Okay, lenyun, karnak. Okay, so we are forced to be in there, and we cannot get out. Why can we not get out? Because of the first link, because of misunderstanding. It's not ignorance, okay? It's misunderstanding. So here we are trapped in samsara, trying to escape, but stuck in it all the time, driven by karnak, should be karnak. Our instinctive reaction to the events, to wrong worldview, due to wrong worldview, will produce the karma that lead us downward spiral in samsara. This is wrong spelling, yeah? So in order to develop Ngenjung, we must first feel tired of samsara and realize that everything in the world is suffering, okay? Now, okay, why do we go to bodhicitta? I think this is a bit too fast, but anyway. Okay, so Ngenjung, renunciation is the requirement to have bodhicitta, right? So first we understand that this samsara is suffering, and we also don't want other beings to be in this samsara. That's why we then can develop bodhicitta, right? So that we can bring all beings out. And how to develop renunciation? There are two ways. Stop desire for this life and stop desire for the next life, right? Okay, the life is gone. So the life is gone here, but anyway. So first, in order to have Ngenjung, we need these two. Stop desire for this life and stop desire for next life. Stop desire for this life. There are two ways. We need to understand the leisure and fortune. Yeah, and then we need to do the meditation on the death and or impermanence. Yeah. And then, yeah, so stop desire for next life will be later. So let's go through. What is this leisure and fortune? Leisure refers to lacking of opportunity, meaning that we are living in this world. Okay, let me repeat that. Okay, ngenjung means we grow, we have the understanding that this is a suffering and we want to get out. We don't want this suffering, right? And we want to develop this renunciation. We need to stop the desire for this life. As a human or as a living being, we have the desire for this life. And we have the desire for next life. We want to come back. This is our instinct. So in order to stop the desire for this life, okay, what do you mean by desire for this life? We want to, well, I mean, of course, don't take this literally, right? Desire for this life doesn't mean that you need to live like a beggar. You need to reject money. You need to live in a bad house. Actually, I have a very, another text I want to show you, okay? That one, Ivo is familiar because she helped me to translate before. Okay, let me show you the text. It's called the 10 Ultimate Riches. Okay. Ivo, this look familiar? Okay, it's okay, you don't remember. So in the text, we are presented with these 10 ultimate riches. We need to have 4 aims, 3 diamonds, and 3 others. What are they? Aiming your mind ultimately to practice, aiming your practice ultimately to the beggar, aiming the beggar ultimately to death, and aiming death ultimately to some dusty ravine. The 3 diamonds, sending the uncatchable diamond ahead of you, laying the unabashable diamond behind you, keeping wisdom diamond at your side, and 3 others, being thrown out from the ranks of men, reaching the ranks of dogs, and attaining the ranks of God. Okay, what do I mean by don't take this literally? Because you need to understand, when you say aiming your mind ultimately to practice, that means we need to practice what we learn, right? Aiming practice ultimately to the beggar means you need to understand that all things only come from seeds and nothing else. Aiming the beggar ultimately to death means start practicing quickly as time is short and uncertain. And aiming death ultimately to some dusty ravine means detach from the desire for fame or big name. Okay, so this is talking about the riches, right? The name is pretty fun, ultimate riches. Okay, let me go to these 3 others. Being thrown out from the ranks of men means never mingle with those who don't believe in the seed system. Reaching the ranks of dog means understanding that nothing, including your food, clothes, housing, comes from its own side. And finally, attaining the ranks of the God is join the seed system practitioner. So these are some of the ideas that we need to really understand so that we don't fall into the wrong idea that, hey, renunciation means I should stop working. I should not live in the big house. I cannot pursue my dream. That is wrong, okay? Instead, we need to understand that current life that we have is something very precious. Why? Because we are not lacking opportunity. What are they? We don't hold wrong view. Okay, we are lucky because of Geshe Michael, who introduced the pen story, who introduced the 2 husbands in the kitchen, so that all of us can at least hold correct views. Okay, and we also learn the 4 laws of karma, and we understand them. We are not born as an animal. We are not born as an insatiable spirit, hungry ghost. We are not born in the hell. Instead, we are not born in the land where the Buddha's teachings are not available. Yeah, Geshe Michael always like to use the term the West, America. We are not born in an uncivilized land where no one keeps the vows of morality. We are not born as a human who is retarded or handicapped and so cannot practice the teaching. And finally, we are not born as a long-lived being of pleasure in one of the temporary paradises. Okay, so this is what we call the eighth leisure. We are not lacking the opportunity, because if you have one of these or more, that means we are lacking opportunity. We don't have the leisure. What is fortunes? 10 fortunes divided into 5 related to ourselves or personal qualities, and 5 related to others or the outside world. We are born as a human. We are born in the central land where people keep the traditional vows of morality. We are born with all our faculties intact, complete, right? We do not committed immediate misdeeds, right? You know, the 5 immediate misdeeds. And then we have faith in the teaching. That's why you are here. And the 5 that relate to others outside the world. We live in a world where Buddha has come 2,500 years ago. And his teachings have been spoken. The Buddha has taught. There are places where Buddha went there but didn't teach. In fact, our Buddha stopped for about 1 month, deciding whether he should teach or not. But we are lucky he decided to teach. And the teaching has not been lost. There are still ACI, there are still DCI, there are still ALL collecting the scriptures. And people still practice them. We are still learning together, and practitioners enjoy the kind of support they require, right? So that is the leisure and fortune. And then we need to reflect on the impermanence and death. This is basically the death meditation, and there are 2 ways to do the death meditation, right? One way is the descriptive type. Descriptive type means actually there are 3 ways. Okay, there is one that is in the reading, Pabongka Rinpoche introduced the death meditation, which is descriptive, giving us the description of what you will experience before your death, before our death, right? Starting by lying on the bed, and then start to have difficulty in breathing, start to see people around us, and then finally start to see people putting us on the corner of the room, and then start to put us into the coffin and whatever and burn, right? So that is one type. The second type is what we experience after death, that Geshe Michael did in Thailand, Lam Rim, I think 2016, right? Yeah, Phuket. Is that Phuket? I forgot the Lam Rim, Thailand, the south one. Yeah, so it's not Phuket. I forgot. Yeah, so it's in Thailand, Lam Rim. So that is the death meditation on the disintegration of the 5 elements. Yeah, disintegration of the 5 elements. I think if you are in the YSI, you will be very familiar with this. You know, we start with the Sa Chu Me Lung Nam Ka. So the disintegration of the earth component, of the earth element, and then the water element, fire element, air element, and finally the space element, right? And then the third type is the reflection, the 3 and 9. In DCI level 11, toothbrush death meditation a la Steve Jobs, if you attended that, right? So 3 reflection, which is death is certain, and then we don't know when it will come, and finally when we die, only our virtues will follow us, or virtues and non-virtues, right? So that is the death meditation. Of course, we also talk about the 8 worldly things, right? Being happy when we get what we want and not happy when we don't get. Feeling good, being happy when we feel good and not happy when we feel bad. Being happy when we are well known and not happy when we are defamed. And feeling happy when we are praised and not happy when we are ridiculed. So these are the 8 worldly things, and we need to learn to get out of this. Okay, class 6, finally. Now for stop desire for next life, apology for this being cut out. Understand the law of karma and understand the various suffering of samsara. Law of karma, I think we are all very familiar. Yeah. Lengepa, lepelchewa, lemanjeng wadang mitrepa, and jepa chumisawa. I think we are very familiar, right? Action, what do you call that? Apple seed produce apple. Action and consequences must be similar. Seeds are small, fruits are big. Action must be smaller than the consequence. Yeah. And then no action, no consequence. With action, there must be consequences, right? So this is very familiar. So to stop the desire for next life, one is to understand the 4 laws of karma. And second is to understand the different kinds of sufferings. Because when we understand the law of karmas, we know that we need to be very, very virtuous. We need to be very virtuous so that we can get a better life. But the problem is that a lot of time when we are unaware, we are very non-virtuous. And if you really measure the positive and the negative, a lot of time the negative is much more than the positive. So because of that, there is a worry that we might not be able to come back as a human. So that is how we can stop the desire for future life. Now, there are 3 kinds of suffering. Sorry, there are 3 categories of sufferings. The first one is the 3. So there are 3, 6, 8, okay? 3, 6, 8, 3 sufferings, 6 sufferings, and 8 sufferings. So the 3 sufferings is very common. I think we know. Suffering of changes, and pervasive suffering. I call it suffering is those negative. Yeah. We fall sick, we grow old, we die. So this is suffering of suffering. Suffering of changes is those positive. Today I'm healthy. Tomorrow maybe I will fall sick. Today I am happily married. Tomorrow maybe I quarrel with my wife and then have problem in relationship. Today I have money. Tomorrow maybe my seeds are finished and I don't have money, and so on and so on. Today everybody respect me. Tomorrow people ditch me, Okay, so this is suffering of change. Pervasive suffering are those related to the 6 kinds of birth. Actually, not just 6, right? It's a birth in this wheel of samsara. And the bodies come complete with its own particular suffering. 3 sufferings. 6 sufferings. Problem that life has no certainty. Problem that we always want more than we have. Problems that we have to keep shucking off bodies over and over again. Problem that we have to keep going into a new life over and over again. Problem that we go up and down in our fortunes in life over and over again. And problem that no one can come along with us, ultimately we are alone. 8 sufferings. 生老病死, born, old, sick, and die. And then 4 more. Encounter things that are unpleasant, losing what is pleasant, trying and failing to get what we want, and the suffering of simply being alive and having all the impure parts of ourselves that we do. And finally, renunciation is achieved when the mind aspires to freedom all day and night. Okay, so these are from the PowerPoint. I would like to share a bit of the book, right, of the reading, which is very exciting. Here. No, here. So here, hold on, let me stop this and then, okay, good. So try to read the book and try to enjoy the teaching, right? Okay, let me go through. Wow, 2:30. I'm over time. I'm sorry. Maybe give me 5 more minutes, okay? Let me see. So we have covered all this. We talk about the 3 different scopes. We talk about the 3 principal paths are like the main beam that supports all the rest of the roof, right? A mind caught up in renunciation leads you to freedom. A mind filled with bodhicitta brings you to the state of omniscience. And the mind with correct view serve as the antidote for the cycle of life. I think it's so beautiful here. Okay. And then you see, people who really long for freedom then should forget at first about all those other supposedly so deep advices that should. So we always like to think of, wow, okay, this is better, that is better, you know. But if we really want progress in spirituality, 3 principal path is the most basic. Don't go too much into all the others before we really use this in our life, right? Yeah, so the 3 principal paths are top of the cream scheme from all the holy words that the Buddha have uttered. Okay. So yeah, I think that's about all. I think I've covered a lot, but I just suggest that you read the reading, yeah, and then like me, I highlighted like how many 262. This one still haven't finished yet. I think I will have at least 300 over highlights. Okay, so it's very interesting. Okay, that's all from me. Any questions? I covered 6 classes today. Tomorrow I'm going to cover 4 more. The reason why today 6, tomorrow 4 is because, you know why? You know why today 6, tomorrow 4? Today is easier. That's why I try to cover as much as I can. Okay, first, my standard is always 90 minutes. Okay, I hate to go over 90 minutes because the listener will become tired and fall asleep. So I try to limit at 90 minutes, right? And then secondly, that is the most optimum time that people can focus. So today's 6 classes, I hope you understand them. This is a review. And then tomorrow, 4 classes will be on the bodhicitta and correct worldview. And correct worldview can be a bit can be a bit complicated. We'll see how much you all can follow. Okay, if you can follow, we can go deep. Yeah, if you cannot follow, then we will just cover as much as we can. Okay, and tomorrow topic is very, very exciting. Very exciting. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions before we end the session?
Just no stupid questions, right?
Say again.
No stupid questions, right?
Sorry. I don't hear.
Sorry. There will be no stupid questions, right?
Oh, no stupid questions. Please ask.
Sorry. Teachers, can tomorrow you tell us what is the main, what I call the core message is the main topic of ACI 1, and then how to apply in life. And because I think cannot relate to link on the lesson in ACI 1 together. How to link it?
Good question. So you're asking the core message of the whole course 1, correct?
And then how to link on the thing that you just mentioned? How to link it?
Oh, use the 3 principal paths in all the good deeds that you are doing in your daily life. Okay. For example, why do I do this? Why do I do this review? Oh yeah, another thing that I learned another thing that I learned today in the Mixed Nuts Wheel of Life. How did Buddha create his pure world? How did the Buddha create his pure world? Buddha is living in the, we can say, pure, heaven, which is pure, right? How did the Buddha create the heaven, which is pure? The answer is because Buddha has taught the Dharma well. So by doing this ACI teaching, my hope is to plant seeds for my own pure paradise. But what's the logic? Come on, hey, you need to be sharp. Why by teaching Dharma you create your pure world? You know, I mean, you don't just accept teachings by swallowing it. You need to question why, you know? Because when you teach Dharma, when you teach people how to plant good seeds, how to keep the morality well, and when everybody is following what you are teaching, automatically your world will be very clean and pure. You see, that is the direct correlation. But indirectly, the Buddhas, the Dharma teachers are planting seeds for them to see their world to become pure. Yeah. So, yeah, basically, in anything that you are doing, have this 3 principal paths in your mind. In fact, it's even easier, you know, because renunciation is the basic of bodhicitta. So you just need to have bodhicitta and the wisdom, just like a bird. Anything that you do, you need to have bodhicitta and you need to have wisdom. Why do I do this review? Why do I plan for ACI courses the whole year? First, because I am trying to apply my bodhicitta. I want as many people as possible to learn the ACI content. Whether you want to do homework or not, it's not important for now. You know, at least you learn first, and then if you develop enough wisdom, maybe you want to do the homework. I'm not saying if you don't do homework, you don't have wisdom. Okay. Okay. But learn first, okay? Learn first. Listen to it first. Yeah, and then, yeah. So in anything that you do, have bodhicitta and have the wisdom. All right? Like all of you being a translator, when you do translation, what can you include the bodhicitta and the wisdom inside? You know? If yes, then it will be beautiful. So that is the core message. Have these 2. And of course, you need to know what is renunciation. It doesn't mean that you leave everything and live in the cave. You know, renunciation, I shouldn't be earning money. I shouldn't be greedy. I shouldn't be living in a big house. Cannot. You are living in a modern world. So how do you apply the renunciation? Become volunteer, translate for all the people so that people who don't understand the original language can learn, so that they can do something, they can progress spiritually. You know? And then how do you apply the wisdom? Wisdom refers to what? Wisdom refers to the pen. The pen. Anything happening in your life, things are not going smoothly. Don't get frustrated, but just questions. What did I do to deserve this? What have I done to see this happening? And then what should I stop doing so that I don't see this continue to happen? So that is the core message of ACI 1. Okay. Okay, any more questions?
Thank you, teacher.
All right. I think I believe all of you are in the DMO Dharma Telegram group. So feel free to ask questions anytime. Yeah. And then we can discuss in there. I prefer to use the Telegram for communication. Of course, I try to build a Discord, but I don't know. I'm trying to build a community in there with all this information, but that will be working in progress. Yeah. All right. So if there is nothing else, I shall see all of you tomorrow. Hopefully you don't run away. So I hope to see all of you tomorrow, and then we can continue our discussion. Okay. And in the meantime, you know the date for ACI 2. If you know anybody who wants to learn ACI 2, please let them know so that we can progress. Okay. All right. So thank you very much to all of you. From my screen, I can see thank you, Ivo, thank you, Ryan, thank you, Jason, thank you, Shin, thank you, Grace, thank you, Susie, thank you, Alice, thank you, Lian, and finally, thank you, Marlena. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.